Welcome to Secretary Ravel, President Molifaria, members of the board, fellow faculty and librarians who helped me do my job very well, staff, friends, relatives of all of you, and most of all you, the entering class, the first entering class as BSU, the class of 2014. I want to thank you for this opportunity to be with you and share some of the stories from a chapter in our journey to Cambodia over the past year. I promised my friends there who gave me this that I would wear this to remember them. This is a Cambodian krama. It's often used in villages throughout Cambodia for keeping your head cool or keeping your neck from burning up or whatever you wanted to use it for. But it was given to me as a way to remember them. So I'd like to wear it to remember them as we talk about them today. As new members of the BSU community, I am sure that many of you have hopes and aspirations and maybe even some fears about your future years here at Bridgewater State University. So I want to do a quick survey, and we'll use a show of hands. How many of you here absolutely know what you want to study and what you want to do when you finish? Raise your hand. Whoa, look at that. Wow. That's great. Great. Okay. Next group. How many of you are undecided, not sure, or maybe even wondering if you'd even be here? Honest people, yes. There we are. Thank you very much. Very good. Now, how many of you are here today? There's one, there's two, there's three. Okay, that's good. I'm just checking to see if you're awake, that's all. Great. For all of you who are undecided and not sure, I hope to encourage you today by some reflections from our time in Cambodia. For all of you that are absolutely sure of your future, maybe today I will cause you to think about making some adjustments to your plans. How did our journey to Cambodia begin? Well, actually, it started in the winter of 1970. Yeah, that's a long time ago, 30 years ago. In 1970, I was a very disillusioned sophomore biology major at a liberal arts college in the middle of Iowa. I was wandering the hallways with that blank stare look in the science building, looking into display cases and wondering, what am I doing here? What does all of this really mean anyway? What can I really do with all these courses? Where am I going? Fortunately, there was a very observant new faculty member in the department. His name was John Bowles. And he saw me and recognized the meaning of that glassy-aired, blank stare look. And he came up. John asked me a lot of questions. He wanted to see how I was doing. But most important, he listened. And then he took a risk. He said, I can't pay you, but if you want to join me and see what I do for field work, you're welcome to come along. I said, sure. I couldn't let this opportunity go by. So the journey began because John was willing to take a risk and extend an opportunity. So it is with opportunities for new discoveries, healings, breakthroughs, new directions. They come in unusual ways, often under difficult circumstances, sometimes at even unexpected or even inconvenient moments. If you are a reader of any of the holy books, there are stories that illustrate this very concept. A famous story in the scriptures talks about Jesus, the teacher, and a man with a deformed hand. As the story goes, the teacher had a lot of critics, and he wasn't following the rules on how to go about taking care of people and helping people. He knew this, but he was more interested in helping the man than he was in winning the approval of his critics. Such is often the case when you take risks to help other people. If you go halfway around the world to places like Cambodia, or Belize, or Cape Verde, or Tanzania, or Haiti, and you use your gifts and skills there to help people, you may encounter many critics of what you're doing. They don't understand your calling, and they don't understand your passion for what you want to do. They will ask you profound questions to challenge your thinking, like, what are you, nuts? Going halfway around the world? Aren't you concerned about getting sick? Don't you know it's not safe to be out there at night? Who will take care of your house? Don't you know there are snakes, landmines, malaria, bugs? Why are you doing this? That's okay, because in their own way, they're asking their questions because they care about you. They wanted to make you think, to be sure. But what makes this story about this man with a deformed hand so vivid for me today is, of course, he was the person that the teacher was trying to help, but he also had to take a big risk in view of a lot of public scrutiny. He had to believe that by stretching out his hand, something was going to happen. He had to take a risk to extend his hand. He was probably saying to himself, what are you, nuts? All these people watching? I'm going to get myself in trouble here. But he stretched it out. Because he thirsted for a chance to be changed. He saw a window of opportunity and believed there was something for him in that open window. That's what I want to challenge you about today. Thirst. Being thirsty. Thirsty enough to be willing to extend your hand and take a risk to be engaged and to become a person with a new perspective about your opportunities here at Bridgewater State University and in your world. Our 8 months in Cambodia were in many ways challenging, unbelievable, rewarding, and forever memorable. We went to Cambodia to help people with drinking water issues in rural villages and to help with hands-on teaching experiences for students at Panya Sastra University in Phnom Penh. There, pure drinking water is not even a possibility for most villages. Here, pure drinking water is not a concern for most of us. We have piped drinking water in many of our homes, and in many places we don't have to worry about its quality. But there, over 30% of the people living in rural villages have no access to clean drinking water, and almost 80% have no access to improved methods of sanitation. This is meaning like a basic latrine. The World Health Organization defines the meaning of access. They say access is a protected clean water source that's within 1.5 kilometers of your house. How many of you would consider that access to clean drinking water? Having to walk 1.5 kilometers every day to get 20 liters or more of water. Just like in Cambodia, there are incredible opportunities in many areas of the world to help people with basic needs like pure water. Many of my colleagues here are engaged throughout the world helping people in places like this, trying to meet needs. Something as simple as pure drinking water can open a window to a new future for children in places like Cambodia. There, because of poor sanitation and contaminated water, over 10% of the children under the age of 5 die from diarrhea. This is not a hard problem to solve, folks. We don't need a grant from the Gates Foundation to solve this one. This is doable. If they could simply stay healthy by drinking clean water, they would have a much better chance to stay in school, and for them, open a door to a new future through education. If they're sick, they can't advance. They can't stay in school. In their society, who does most of the fetching of the water but the young girls and the mothers? Staying healthy through clean water helps them have a window of opportunity. If you have a chance, take a look at the video that my friend, Dr. Jabbar al-Obaidi from the BSU Communication Department produced last year about this drinking water project called Filter Only. It will tell you much about this project and what Rotary International is doing around the world to helping with drinking water problems there and in many places. Now, over the past 4 years, and especially the last 8 months, we have had the privilege of working with many people on these drinking water issues. In Cambodia, we met students and people who taught us a great deal about thirst. Not just thirst for pure water, but thirst for a chance to make a difference. So I want to tell you some of their stories. Let's see. Okay. We need to go back. This is Patia. Patia is a senior thesis student that I'm still helping at Panyasastra University in Phnom Penh. He was a Buddhist monk for many years. During our time in Cambodia, Patia got very interested in the drinking water issues in rural villages. As part of his senior thesis project, he willingly traveled 6 hours each way by bus each week to his research site near Siem Reap. He would leave at 6 a.m. on a Thursday and often return on a Sunday so he could go back and get to his classes at Panyasastra on Monday morning. Each week, he would arrive at Siem Reap Lab from his 6-hour ride, pack his field gear, get his survey sheets, and drive off on his moto to his research site in Dan Narun commune. This was another 1-hour drive by moto each way. For 7 weeks, he would keep up this schedule, doing lab work, doing field work, doing analysis of samples in the lab, at night going back to his room, doing his course assignments in his spare time. Why does he do this? Because he loves interacting with the people in the village, trying to help them. They're part of his heart, they're part of his life, and he really wants to help them meet their drinking water needs. This is a dug well where Patia is doing his field work. If you look closely at this photo, you'll see there's not much water at the bottom of this well. This well is about 12 feet deep. What Patia discovered in doing his field work is that by mid-June, the people in this village were running out of water. Villagers that he interviewed told him that if you did not get up by 3 a.m. and go to this well, you wouldn't get any water for the day because there wasn't enough recharge to refill the well. Note, the color of this water is not clear, not very clean, but many there had no choice but to drink this just as it is. They were really thirsty. But Patia was even more thirsty. He was thirsty to make a difference. He willingly extended himself, and along the way he found his calling, his mission. As a senior student, he did not know what he wanted to do with his education until he engaged in this village outreach project. In his own words, I spent all this time in courses and had no idea what I wanted to do with my life. Now, I know. The young man in the center of the screen is one of Patia's classmates. His name is Vut. Vut has been a model to me of commitment and determination. He desperately desired to go to college to advance his future, but he didn't have funds to go. He worked several part-time jobs in Phnom Penh, taking classes as he could afford them, sleeping at homes of friends, and sometimes in the Wat, sometimes with relatives, just so he could keep his living costs down. He wanted to explore what he could do in environmental studies, but he needed financial support. So he volunteered his time to help at the college in the bookstore. He met people there. They got to know what a sincere person he was, and eventually they offered him a work-study scholarship to attend Panyasastra University and to do his work in environmental studies. He's taking courses at night, and while he was doing that, he met a professor from the Institute of Technology of Cambodia, and he told him about the arsenic contamination problem in drinking water wells throughout the Mekong River. And he gained experience this May helping to install a treatment system that provides clean water to over 400 families so they don't have to drink contaminated water for the first time in their lives. Now, I've heard that he's going to work with a team of his fellow PUC students to install a third system, and he will be the team leader under the direction of Dr. Uy from the Institute of Cambodia. His path had many curves and barriers, but he did not give up. And now he's helping people in rural villages get purified water. I like what Harriet Beecher Stowe has to say about situations like this. When you get in a tight place and everything goes against you till it seems as though you could not hold a minute longer, never give up then, for that is just the place and the time that the tide will turn. This is a wonderful team of people that I had the privilege of working with. Elizabeth and I had an unusual opportunity to meet all these students, work with them when they came to Cambodia. They are the first international team of students from 3 universities that worked with Vut and Pattaya and several of us to install the second community water treatment system for arsenic removal in all of Cambodia. This past May, 4 of our BSU students volunteered to help with this installation to remove arsenic in Piem Samborn village in Pre Vang, Cambodia. This is one of the poorest areas of Cambodia. People in this village and in many villages along the Mekong River are forced to drink water from wells that have 20 to 70 times the acceptable limit of arsenic in their drinking water. We're talking about 200 to 700 parts per billion when it should be under 10. When President Molafalia came to Cambodia in February and heard about this issue, he saw an opportunity to help on a social justice issue. And he couldn't wait to help. He helped extend Bridgewater's hand to raise the funds for materials and equipment costs and allow this community to get clean water. He provided the support network of the BSU staff and faculty to support a team, select student volunteers, and participate in this international collaboration to install this treatment system for 400 families. All of these students in this photo are very unique people, some of them from very different countries, some from Cambodia, some from France, 4 of them from the US. Our BSU students, Rich, Yolando, Heather, Sophie, all were willing to extend themselves. All of them took risks to come. All had no guarantee of the outcome. All of them went the distance. All of them helped people in this village, made new friends in Cambodia, got sick, experienced hardship, learned about themselves and people of another country. All would not have been possible if they did not go. All of them thirsted to make a difference. All of them were changed forever. They stretched out their hand, explored, gave of themselves, thirsted to make a difference. Now, what about you? You can build these kinds of bridges. During your journey of exploration and discovery here at BSU, meet people on their own ground. Listen to their stories and learn who they really are. Extend your hand. Take a risk. Volunteer for community service projects that take you to places where you can give of yourself for others. Engage in undergraduate research and creative expression. We have a wealth of opportunities that my colleagues have developed here. Learn what doors can be opened by exploring new ideas and new cultures and countries. Lose yourself out of your passion to help others. And then you will find your true self and where you really want to invest your life. Thirst to make a difference. Don't wait too long to begin the process. Emerson's perspective on this is important. He says, "You cannot do a kindness too soon, for you never know how soon it will be too late." With all the recent events in the world and within our own college community, it is very clear that we do not know how much time we have for this journey, and we do not know how many opportunities we will have to make a difference. I know that many of us feel like we can't do anything to alleviate suffering of our fellow human beings around the globe, or even across the street. We feel dwarfed by the magnitude of the problem, or the disaster, or the tragedy. Look at the heartache from the devastation from the floods in Pakistan. 20 million people impacted, 4 million homeless. You might say, this problem's too big for me. I can't do anything to help with this. I like Mother Teresa's perspective on problems like this. She said, if you can't feed 100 people, then feed just one. Never undervalue the power of one. The person you feed, aid, encourage, or carry through a dark time in their journey may be the very person who could change a country, alleviate poverty, or bring clean drinking water to a community where people have no choices or options. These are friends of mine, PUC students, working on water problems on the Mekong River in Phnom Penh. They're going down a path they could never take until they had an opportunity because Bridgewater helped them get equipment to do testing and investigation work. They're thirsting to use their opportunity. Now I'm asking you to thirst. As a professor at BSU since 1994, I have had the opportunity to work on many programs with my colleagues, librarians, and staff to create wonderful programs for engagement, discovery, research, service for all of you. But we can only open doors and show you where there are opportunities. Only you can step inside and decide to become the person you would never be able to become unless you take that first step. Thirst for that opportunity. Extend your hand. Walk through that door. Thomas Merton challenges many of us where we have fears in these areas. He said, the biggest human temptation is to settle for too little. I heartily welcome you to the BSU community, and I really hope that you become fully engaged here, exploring opportunities during your time in this community. But I implore you, come to BSU for more than completing a college degree. Don't come here year after year, stare at open windows of opportunity. Thirst to make a difference. Take a chance. Be here to explore who you can become. Step through that door. Give of yourself to help others. Extend your hand and change someone's life. If you do, you will encourage many, find your life, be changed, make a difference forever. So now, are you thirsty enough? Thank you for your attention.